gosh, I have not been on here in quite some time. It's been a long time. And I signed up to do some angel blocks for someone in a different hive. I've been doing some bee stuff. I've been having so much fun doing this stuff. And someone backed out, so there are some angels stepping in to make sure that everybody gets the blocks. So that's what I'm doing. And these are actually FPP, so that is kind of fun. And I love her theme. She wants it bright and colorful, and she wants ruby stars. So I have a whole bunch of ruby star fabrics pulled out right now, a bunch of scraps, and we're gonna make something pretty with them. I don't even think I remember how to work this whole thing. Let's see. There's the chat. Hi, Vicky. How are you? I was debating whether to come on. I was like, do I come on? I miss everybody, but I'm never like in the right state to hop on. And sometimes like it's hard to even just find time to sew. So I'm glad that I mustered up the courage to come on, because I really do miss going on live and sewing and chatting with everybody. Just life has been like super crazy lately, and so I need to just do better at making some time. I'm doing okay, doing alright, hanging in there. I've been sewing a little bit more these days, so that's nice. Tomorrow I'm gonna start working on a very special project that I need to get going on, but I wanted to wrap up my smaller things first, and so I've been able to do a few things and get everything situated. It's like the end of the month-ish, and I sign up for a lot of things that maybe I should stop signing up for because I always find myself like scrambling, and like life has been like super just unrelenting lately, it seems like, and so it's been even more difficult to find time to sew, and so these deadlines are just like, like I'm usually not really fazed by deadlines because I'm pretty consistent in like finding time to come sew, but it has just been like out of my hands lately, and I'm just trying to get everything wrapped up. And tomorrow I'm gonna do some recording for this special project that we're doing. I'll give you a hint, it's Christmas related with other YouTubers, and so I'm like, well, I'm not going to record tonight. I'm in a dark dungeon basement. I'm going to wait till the sun comes out. So, hi, how are you? He's good. He is actually on his second day ever eating baby food, so he's already eating baby food, which is just wild. He is such a good baby. Aside from the fact that he does not sleep through the night, like I feel like out of all of them, he's probably the worst sleeper, but he's not as bad as he could be, because like his bad sleeping is just not sleeping like throughout a whole night. It's not like he wakes up and he's like crying and everything, so it could be worse. Like usually I just can feed him and he goes right back to sleep. But, oh my gosh, all the other ones were sleeping through the night by like 5 months. And he's the one that wakes up at like, he'll wake up at 11 or midnight. So I've got maybe an hour or so. I mean, he did go down a little bit later, but I was watching some YouTube videos actually before I came down here. And I was like, not sure if I was going to come down. But yeah, anyway, I just kind of started trailing off. But he is a great, 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 great baby. He's so smiley. He's so giggly. He's starting to like use his hands a lot now. And yeah, he's a really good kid. He's a good kid. Hi, Shelly. I'm happy to be on here. I miss you all. Life's been just so crazy. I'm sure we could all say that, though. I don't think it ever gets uncrazy, right? Or is that just me? Addie started kindergarten, not this week, but last week. And then we all got sick, so he brought back some yumminess to share with all of us. So that was really nice of him. And so we're all kind of trying to recover a little bit from that. Like, I was feeling better the other day, and it's almost like it's like a second wave. Like, even Louise was like sick, and then she was like kind of on the mend, and then yesterday night she just took a turn for the worse, and her nose started going again, and yeah, so that's fun. But that's part of like going to public school, I guess, right? Like bringing home all of the goodies, all of the yuckiness. I don't even have everything I need out yet. Oh. I think the summer has flown by. Hasn't it? I mean, it's just been wild. And I feel like, I need some scissors. We're doing FPP. I feel like this is the first summer that I've actually enjoyed. So, it's so weird because I, like, hate summer. I hate it, hate it, hate it. It's so, so hot, which makes it even more funny that I kind of enjoyed this summer because it's been the hottest that it's ever been, I feel like, in Kansas City. I think we just had our hottest day in, like, 11 years. We've never had it that hot. So, I think it's funny that I'm like, oh, I like summer, but I'm definitely a fall gal. I'm a fall and spring gal. I don't like the summer. The summer does not like me. Hi, Shirley. How are you? Gosh, it's been a hot minute. It has been so long. Oh my gosh. I have to come on here too. I was going to come on and do my cotton cuts because I'm doing Carnival as well now. And I was just doing them on Instagram the past couple, but like usually that's been my thing. I'm like, okay, if I can't go on to live as often as I'd like, I'm at least going to go when I work on cotton cuts. And then I got really bad about it. Hi, Lisa. Hi, Judy. We're doing FPP. It's just like the old days. We come on here and just gab until like 2 in the morning. Alrighty, let's do this one. She wants bright star prints, bright and colorful. So we are just gonna doing a whole bunch of ruby star. I'm in Southwest Florida. It's been so hot here. I'm ready for it to cool down. Yeah, I don't know if I could. I mean, I was born in Florida, and we went out there when my mom had her incident, and gosh, it's so hot there. It is so hot and humid. Hot here is very dry. I'm trying to think about how this is going to be oriented. You know what? I'm not even going to think about it. Maybe I am going to think about it. No, I'll go over here. All right. So yeah, I'm sure you are ready. Today was actually really not that bad. It was like 73 and rainy, so it was really nice. Hi, Tiffany. I was actually just watching your Quilt Miss video from last year with Austin, and they got to the point where you were free motion quilting. He was like, "Is that free motion quilting?" I'm like, "Yeah." And he's like, "She's really good." I'm like, "Yeah, that's what she does." And so it's funny you hop on because I was just watching you. I was trying to, figure out how I wanted to do my video. And I was like, well, I'm going to watch Tiffany's because she knows what she's doing. I have no idea what I'm doing. And I think I'm going to make these all kind of upside down. I wish I would have done a non-directional print. still in the 90s at 10 p.m. in Georgia. Oh my gosh. It is. Hey, Alexa. Oh, it says it's 75. It says it's 75, which is actually not that bad. But that has not been the norm. Let's see. I just don't want these girls to all be going a different way. Sometimes my brain doesn't work past a certain time of day. I mean, who am I kidding? It is barely functioning. So that is not the way that I want it to go. I want it to go this way. I don't think my brain works anymore, guys. I was literally working on a quilt. I was working on a commission quilt. This really cute, you know what? I'm just going to do it. We don't have time to be perfect, okay? We need to just get stuff done. Why am I like this? I was working on a quilt yesterday, and I had to get the placements of all the fabrics just a certain way. And I would lay it out, and it'd be perfect, and then by the time it got down to sewing it, OMG. Ladies and gentlemen, I've lost my mind. I have not done this in a while. And I'm talking... What a mess. What a mess. Should I just redo this whole thing? Ugh. So yeah. My brain has not been working well. I feel like from being sick and like we've just had a lot of stuff going on in our family and our life. And then when I get down to sew, I'm literally like, I don't even know. I have the line here telling me where to sew and I'm still doing it wrong. That's where my mind is. Hi, yo, Patty G! They're good. We have had quite the day. I mean, quite the couple weeks, honestly. Addington started kindergarten, and that's been like a struggle in its own, like school-wise, him wanting to be there and whatnot, but honestly, he has turned into a monster. He is such a good kid. He's very kind and sweet and loving, and he gets home and he just turns into a monster. Like today, for instance, he wanted to literally have a World War III all day long, and I'm just like, dude, it's Saturday. Can we take a break? Can we resume on Monday? And so, yeah, that's kind of been our life. He likes school when he's there, and then, like, you know, his teacher's been telling us that he goes into the bathroom and cries after lunch and misses us and doesn't want to go to his class, and that sucks because it's like, oh, well, I wish I was there to, like, hug him, but then you're like, well, you can't coddle them forever. He's got to, you know, get good at this, and he will get good at this. But, yeah, the first couple days, they were terrible. So we walked him to school the first day. Well, we walked him to school the first couple days. And the first day, it was kind of different than what they have now. And that is, like, they had the doors open. So the kindergarten classrooms are, like, on the outside of the building. And so they had those doors open so you could walk into the classroom from the outside. And they just had them open. So that's, like, not going to be, they don't do that. You have to, like, go in through the front now. So we walked him in and we looked at his classroom and we're like, oh, it's great. It's amazing. We're going to have so much fun. And he's like, okay, bye. And he was literally, like, fighting us to go in. He was like, Mom, let's go, let's go. And we showed up early. I was like, well, they don't open the doors until this time. And so he goes in, gets settled in, and he starts coloring at his desk. And I'm like, okay, I'm going to go. And he's like, okay, bye. And I stood there. He didn't see me, but I, like, stood outside and I kind of, like, peeked through the crack of the door just to see if, like, you know, he even looked up. And he didn't. He was having a great time. So me and my mother-in-law walked him, and I was like, okay, well, I guess we need to just go home now. I think that's it. So we turn around and we start walking up the sidewalk. And I was like, I joked to her. I like had his crayon box. And I was like, I can't throw it away. It's his first crayon box. Like, I'm not going to get rid of it. And I was like, should we turn around and go see him? And she was like, if you want to. I'm like, no, we can't. We have to keep going. And then I just hear, Mom, 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 I need you. I need you. And I turn around and go, uh-oh. And Liz is like, what? I'm like, Addington ran out of his classroom and was like barreling towards us, which I'm like so glad that he didn't like, get hit by a car or something. And that someone noticed that he ran out and was coming after him, but it was so bad. Like, he was inconsolable for an hour, it seemed like. And I mean, it was an hour. It was really hard. So we took him to the library, and I ended up having to like sneak out, and it was just so bad. And then he cried the next day and didn't want to go. And then he got sick, and he missed 3 days this week. And then he went back on Thursday. And then on Thursday, his teacher said that he cried in the lunchroom, and then he cried in the bathroom and locked himself in the bathroom and wouldn't come out. Tell me it gets better. Everybody says it gets better, but it doesn't feel like it's getting better. All right? It just seems like some sort of torture. And then he comes home, and he is just so blatantly ridiculous. I mean, it is ridiculous. So, it is what it is. It's not going to last forever. He's going to be loving school here. Once he gets in it, he loves it. He comes out and he's like, the first day he was so excited because they let him use scissors, and Mom and Dad don't let him use scissors at home. So he was like, I got to cut. You don't let me cut at home. I like school. But it's just like when he realizes that he's gone and that like we're not there, that detachment, I think, when it hits him. And then like he doesn't like being in those big spaces with a bunch of people, and a bunch of people that are really loud, like the lunchroom and the gym. He doesn't like them. So hopefully he gets used to it. There's a star point. All of them are going to be different. So I'm just going to pick different prints that I have out. This one's kind of fun. Let's do this one with... But the other kids, we have 2 other kids. We have talked about Archie. We've talked about Addie. Does this come off as background? And no, it does not. This one does, though. Let's see. Blue and purple. Okay. It does eventually get better. I don't know. It feels like... Oh my gosh. He's so lucky, though. He really loves reading, and the librarian has been amazing with him. Just like so patient. She comes and walks him in every day, so she like waits for him and takes him to the library, takes him to this like special toy room. And so here's the funny thing. Yeah, I'm never gonna get used to this. This feels weird. I feel like we're still like the first week, and he didn't even go the full week, so he's only been to school like 4.5 days. So I know we're still early on in it, but it feels like every day I'm gonna worry about him. Every day I'm gonna be sitting here like, oh, I wonder, does he need a hug? Is he sitting with somebody? But he came home, and so he told us that his friend's name is Elmo, okay? And my head went to, okay, they gave him a support animal, like a support stuffed animal, because he's been having such a hard time. And he's saying that his friend is Elmo, and I'm like, oh, cool, you have a friend named Elmo. Can you tell me about Elmo? And so I was pretty convinced. I was like, well, Austin, I don't know if this is a real person or if he's like making it up or if he really does have a friend named Elmo. Like, his name's kind of bizarre, so maybe there is an Elmo. And so for a couple of days, we were like, oh, so do you play at recess with Elmo? And he's like, yeah. And every time we ask him questions, like, he would give us a solid answer, but then, like, sometimes he would giggle. So I'm like, okay, like, he's yanking our chain. Like, he's going on the playground with a stuffed animal. It's gotta be. But, yeah, like, we were like, what color is his hair? And he was like, it's black. And I even pulled up Elmo on YouTube. I'm like, oh, does Elmo look like this? And he's like, no. And he was like laughing at me. And I'm like, okay, so maybe he's mispronouncing it. Maybe it's like Elmer. Maybe there's a boy named Elmer in his class or something. And then Austin asked him the other day, he was like, how tall is Elmo? And he goes like this little, like very little. I'm like, okay, it's a stuffed animal. It's a stuffed animal. But like every single answer, you're like, okay, well, it could be a person, but it also could be a stuffed animal. Anyway, I was like, you know what? I'm just going to message his teacher and ask and just kind of like let our minds go to peace because you want him to have a friend. You want to feel comfortable knowing that he has someone on the inside with him. Like he's in jail. Like he's got a cellmate or something, holding his back, watching his six. And his teacher said, oh, he's so close. It's with an A, not an E. So he does have a friend named Elmo. And so that is just, a weight off your shoulder. You're like, oh my gosh. Yay. Thank goodness. He has a friend. But I do feel like the sickness that he brought is ridiculous. I think he has asthma too, but it's just lingering. It's not going away. We took COVID tests and they were negative. Like I was feeling better, but my throat now is messed up and my ears feel weird. It's just ridiculous. Whatever he brought back is the gift that keeps on giving. I don't know if I like this one. I don't know if it's going to work. So, Louise is 2 now. She had a birthday in June. And we went to the zoo and it was like so much fun. She loved it. And then Zoe turned 4 this month, at the beginning of the month, and we took her to the zoo, and it was so much fun. And then the next day, my nephew was born, so that was really cool. Cute little baby. He was like 6 pounds. So little. You bring Archie over by him because I went up to the hospital and I bring Archie with me everywhere because I'm his food source. So I can't really go anywhere without him. And he wasn't allowed to go in part of the hospital. So, yeah, anyway, him by a newborn baby. He's 6 months old. Well, he's 6 months old in 2 days. Half a year, you guys. Can you believe it? It honestly makes me feel so much more guilty for not coming on here because it's like, oh my gosh, half a year's gone by. And I feel like I haven't even been on YouTube at all. Like I've maybe come on a few times to do the cotton cut stuff and that's it. And I feel so bad about it, but I know you guys understand. I know you understand. And whenever I'm like, oh, I'm so sorry, you guys all shut me up pretty good. And you're like, it's fine, life happens, we get it, you're busy, but that doesn't get rid of the guilt. Okay, I feel like a stranger on here. Okay, it's kind of going, it'll be good, it'll be good, it'll be good. They are angel blocks, so she will be happy with whatever. I don't think I like that though. I've been really enjoying these quilting bees that I'm in. They are just so much fun. Oh, there's my bedtime saying go to bed. They've been so much fun. Trying to find my scissors and then I'll finish my thought. Anyway, I've been having a lot of fun with these quilting bees, and they're like a great opportunity to learn new things, connect with new people, and use your scraps and use your stash. And every time I make something, I end up like bundling up a whole bunch of fabric from that project and just gifting it to the queen bee. And so it has been so much fun. And I'm like finding myself working with colors or fabrics that I'm, sitting on. Hi, Teresa. Like I made some blocks today with some colors that I had in my stash, but I would probably never use in something that I'm making. And so it's really cool to be pushed to use different things, to kind of go out of your comfort zone. And I even like learn new techniques and stuff, so it's really fun. I really highly recommend joining a quilting bee. If you've never been part of one, it's a really good time. I'm in one. Okay, so I'm in a quilting bee in 2 different hives. So I'm in the same bee. There's 12 hives in that bee. I'm in 2 of them. And then I'm in a whole other bee because someone from the other bee was like, I want to do a bee. I'm going to do one. Who wants to join? And I was like, I'll do it. So I'm in 3 different hives. But some people are really bad about like committing to things and then not following through. So I'm making angel ones. And I say that in the nicest way. I know probably as good as anybody that life happens. Life happens, and if you communicate that and you say, hey, life is just too much right now, something is going on, can I have like an extension, or I'm going to be a little bit late, or whatever. But there was somebody who was in one of our bees. I'm going to give you the tea. Someone was in our bee. She was a pattern designer, writer. She opted to go first. So there's 12 people. Every month there's a new person and everybody makes blocks for them. She opted to go first. She had us make one of her patterns, her blocks, sent them over to her, and then she left without even telling us. She had someone else come in and tell us, and then said that she couldn't do it anymore because her kid's nap schedule changed. But she had time to sew all of the blocks together, 24 of them, and actually we might have just made her one, but she had time to sew her whole quilt top together, quilt it, bind it, and advertise it all over online, even after she quit. That kind of stuff is just like not cool. Not cool. So, yeah, I mean, it's, I guess, to be expected. Though, I mean, there's always going to be somebody who ruins it for everybody else. But we recovered and we filled the spot. This person's in a different one that I'm making these for, and she needed some angel blocks because someone dropped out of theirs. So hopefully next year, if this one goes again, people will sign up and like do the dang thing. Hi, Carissa. It's just like the old days. I'm doing FPP. It's amazing. Doing FPP late at night, just rambling. Already seam ripped once. But that might just, knock on wood, be the one time. I keep telling myself, like, all right, this month I'm going to stop signing up for stuff. I'm not going to do any tests. I'm not going to do this or that or this or that. And what happens? I don't listen to myself. I do not stick to my boundaries. And then I like keep pushing it off. I'm like, okay, well, next month I'm going to do no signing up for anything, and I'm just going to make what I want to make. I'm going to pick a pattern that's been on my to make list, or pick up a UFO and finish it, or whatever. And does that happen? No, it does not, because I like to sign up for things. It is fun. Why do I do this? Why do I do this? I have like FOMO, the fear of missing out. Like today, my friend messaged me and she was like, oh my gosh, did you see this swap? And it's a Halloween swap. And I'm like, oh yeah, cool. And for a split second I was like, no, I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do it. I don't need to do it. And then like a second later I'm on the Google page filling out my information, signing up for it. I'm crazy. Quilting bee groups, can you explain more what it is? So this is my first time ever being in any. So of course I had to sign up to be in 3. I'm just kidding. I offered to be a host on one of them. So okay. So the Quilting bee is it's a group of people. So the first one that I entered, so many people applied that there ended up being 12 hives. So the bee broke down to 12 hives, and in those hives there are 12 people. And so every month there is a quilting bee or queen bee, and she says, okay, I want 2 log cabin blocks with the color pink, or I want a star block with just ruby star fabric, something like that. And so all of the worker bees make those blocks and send them out to her by the end of the month. And then at the end of her month, she can take all of those blocks and make a quilt. And it's really, really cool, and it's been really fun to connect with other quilters. And some people are like a little bit easier to make for. Some people are very specific. I mean, it just depends on who your queen is that month. And there's like a lot of great conversation and like, hey, are you comfortable with FPP? Are you comfortable with this technique? Are you, whatever. So it's kind of a fun thing. If you find a quilting bee and people are looking for people to sign up, you should definitely sign up because it's really, really cool. And it's a great way to go through your scraps. I have a really hard time at throwing away fabric, and so I always have like random little pieces. Like this is from a Valentine's Day quilt I made last year. I didn't want to throw this away, but because I knew that one day I would want it for something or use it for something, and I'm using it for these blocks. So if you have a lot of scraps, this might be a good idea for you. Yeah, there's also there's a whole bunch of different things too. Like I think one fun one that my guild talked about last year was they had a round robin where they had a group of people and they would start a block. They would start block or start their quilt. And I'm sure you can format this in a whole bunch of different ways to like suit the group or like what your goal is. But you start and then you rotate. So say it was like me and Tiffany and Teresa making a quilt. I would start with a block and I would kind of like have a little journal and say, okay, I'm really hoping to stick to these colors, or, you know, I don't really like star blocks, or it would just have kind of like that kind of stuff. So then you would rotate it. So I would give my quilt to Teresa and she would work on it for a week. And she would give hers to Tiffany and Tiffany would work on hers for a week. And then I'll work on Tiffany's for a week. And then you rotate it throughout the whole group. And then by the time you get it, you have this completed quilt top that you never would have been able to make on your own because, I mean, the bigger the group, the more minds, the more creativity, the more just unexpected twists and turns. I would love to do a round robin. I think that'd be really fun. And again, you could always format it like however you'd want it. Like you could say, I want to approve things, or I want to be surprised, or don't make it bigger than the, I don't know. So yeah, it's really fun. We should do a quilting bee on YouTube. How fun would that be? Donation quilts. Oh, that's amazing. Yeah, our guild, I'm in the Kansas City Modern Quilt Guild, and they pick a charity each year to make for. And I believe this year it's Sleep in Heavenly Peace or something like that. So we're making quilts. They made them already. Like for several months they were making string blocks, and I think they got like 400 blocks, and then they made like 12 or 13 quilts. So I actually have one down here because I offered a long arm one. They just like sent them all out to different long armers in the guild. And so yeah, I think it's amazing that guilds are doing charity stuff and putting their gifts to good use. So I think I have 4 more of these, and then I have to make like a 4 patch, and then I can make the stars, and then I'm done. I offered to make her 2. Hi Sheila, how are you? I know it's been so long. Yes, when you find your spare time, can you start the bee for all of us? Hey, I think it'd be super fun. I feel bad when I come on here and I'm like talking about random stuff, because even though I'm not like super active on here, I feel like it takes so much more I don't know, like set aside time and prep, and kudos to all of the YouTubers. I don't even think I should consider, I'm not a YouTuber. I am like such a lazy YouTuber. Everybody else is so much better about being consistent and everything. And I feel bad because it's like I sometimes can't put aside the time to come on here. But I'm on Instagram, so like if you guys have Instagram, I'm on there. I will message you. I share all my work on there. That's something that I can just like in the car do and like have just a messy life and be on Instagram, and nobody sees the mess on there. When I come on YouTube, I'm like, oh my god, like people are gonna think I'm crazy. I wear the same shirt every time I come on, and my hair might not be brushed, or you know, I look like a zombie from having like a all-out battle with my 5-year-old all day. So yeah, I don't know. I feel so bad that I don't come on, but I really do love going on Instagram, and that's where I find a lot of these fun things that I'm doing. And so if you don't have Instagram, you need to do it. It's a good time, and I've been able to connect with a lot of amazing people. And I always thought it was really interesting when I came on YouTube, because I was fairly active on Instagram already, Like that was like my main source of, you know, I don't know, being online, I don't know. And it's so interesting. A lot of people are just Instagram, just YouTube. There's not a lot of intermingling. You know what I mean? Like, oh, I don't have Facebook, but I have this, or I don't have this. So I get it. Like there's too much to keep up with. You can't do all the things. But if you are interested in Instagram and want to join on there, follow me on there, and we can talk on there too. Because I feel bad I can't come on here all the time. I should do better. I should do better. Beth, I'm sending you a quilt top. Is there anything I need to know? Hi! Okay, so if you're sending me a quilt, I would just a few things, okay? So just try to give it a nice press. Most often than not, I end up ironing every quilt top before I put it on, even if you iron it nice and perfectly. Just with having it folded and like in the mail, when I take it out, there will be like a fold, so I usually go over it anyway, but just try your best to get all your seams nice and flat. Your backing, if you're doing your backing, it needs to be 4 inches bigger on all 4 sides so that I have room to attach my bungees and quilt on the inside of your quilt. And if you're sending batting, you need to have it 2 inches bigger on all 4 sides compared to your quilt top. I have 80/20 bamboo and 100% cotton available if you'd like to get your batting through me. Hopefully I'll have Quilter Dream Puff. I don't know if Amy's on here, but that's Amy's favorite. And I really like it. I like how poofy it is. And I would like to add wool as well. But so far I just have 80/20 cotton and 80/20 bamboo. So I have Instagram, but not very good at using it. You know, just you gotta practice. You got it, Judy. You've got it. I maybe I need to do like I literally gave my mother-in-law an Instagram lesson yesterday morning. They came over. Was it yesterday morning? Yes, it's Saturday. They came over yesterday morning, and my father-in-law's car wasn't. His alternator went out, so they had to get towed. And so she's sitting there. I'm like, well, it's no time like the present. Let's get on Instagram. I'm going to give you that lesson that you need. So I showed her around. So if anyone needs help, message me and I'll help you with Instagram. It's really, it looks more confusing than it is. I promise. You look fine. Is your son in kindergarten this year? Yes, he is. He started last week. It's been a whole thing. It's been a whole thing. It's been very interesting. I just never really expected it to be the way it is, I guess. He, I guess, is very comfortable. People keep saying, like, he's only acting out because he loves you and he feels safe with you and he's kept it together all day at school and so he's just letting it out. I'm like, but why? Why? Hi, Sean. I love Instagram, right? It's good. My top has a lot of white. Is it better to go with 80/20? So, originally I would have said yes because my cotton I had last round was natural, but the 100% cotton that I got this time is bleached. So I have white 80/20, white 100% cotton, and I believe the bamboo is white, as well. So, that's up to you. I actually really prefer the 80/20. I think it quilts beautifully. I love the more like poofiness to it. It's a little bit more substantial, but it's still like breathable. It's really hard to explain, but 80/20 I would say is my favorite batting. Like I just kind of gravitate to doing the 80/20. But it's personal preference. Some people just love their 100% cotton. Some people are like, what's the big deal? There's no difference. But yeah, I really like the 80/20. I don't know what it is about it, but I also want to add Dream Puff because I really like the Dream Puff too, and I wasn't expecting to like it. But Amy Chapman sent me a few quilts a while back, and she sent Dream Puff with it because that's her favorite batting, and I was like, well, this will be interesting. Let's try it out. And oh my gosh, the texture of how the quilting comes through on that top with that batting is just unreal. So maybe maybe I got a new batting distributor. Like I still have the other one, but I found one that's local to where I don't have to pay shipping on every bolt. Like I was buying 2 rolls at a time, and I would have to pay separate shipping on both of them, and it was like absurd. So I ended up finding a local batting distributor, wholesale distributor, and so I don't have to pay for shipping anymore. So that is just like, woo! And they also offer like Heirloom, they offer Quilter's Dream, they offer what's the other one? Hobbs, and then they have like a whole bunch of other things too. So that's really cool. Hi Mom. What is Dream Puff made of? It's polyester, I believe. It's like a kind of like a polyfill-ish thing, which is surprising. I didn't think I would like it, but I really do like it. It's great. Okay. I'm trying to like make these to where they don't get lost. I'm not really good at like value and stuff like that. I overthink it. Let's just do this white one. Yeah, but I don't have Dream Puff. I'm just saying that eventually I'd like to add that to my offering. I think next one that I add, I would like it to be wool because winter's coming and it gets really cold here, and wool is just beautiful. Like you can double up on it on the inside and then quilt it. Like that's what a lot of show quilters do with their quilts that they enter in shows. They will put double layer of wool in there, and the quilting just, bam, it just poofs out like crazy. So I would like to eventually add wool and Dream Puff. But for now, 80-20, 100% cotton, or bamboo. And the bamboo is really nice, but I feel like it's just, it's like so fancy for what it is, you know? I don't know. I felt like when I heard bamboo, it was supposed to be more like unique and interesting, but I think I've only done like 1 or 2 quilts with this. Maybe I'm just not experienced with it enough, like I'm not familiar enough with it to have like a valid opinion. But 80-20, love it. Love it. And it's actually the one that goes a lot quicker. Like a lot of people tend to want the 80-20 in their quilts as well. So I don't know. It's a good one. It's a good one. I made a large pot holder with 2 layers of batting, and every time I use it, I'm like, this feels better than most of my quilts. See, I've never done the double layer, but I've just like, I've felt quilts with it, and I've seen them with it. I need to do that on one of mine, but I'm also like, I don't want to waste it. Like once I'm like on a quilt of my own, I'm like, I don't really want to waste it. I need to have batting for my customers. Maybe I'll do it when I have like a fresh roll and I'm like just swimming in batting. I'll be like, all right, let's go. But I think I'm like pretty frugal with my batting. I save every single piece of mine. I will try and frankenpiece like on my quilts. I try not to use like the brand new stuff. I like to try and use like the bits and pieces I cut off from other quilts, but usually that doesn't work out. I've really only successfully, since having the long arm, I ended up getting the batting tape because I was like, well, I need to use these because I just have like huge storage boxes of like all the batting since I've ever quilted because I cannot throw stuff away. What is wrong with me? And because I'm like, well, this would be great for a table runner, or this would be great for a coaster, or this size would be great for an ornament. I'm like, come on. I need to stop doing that. But it's actually kind of nice when it does come in handy and you're like, oh, this is the perfect size for this baby quilt that I'm working on. So I ended up frankenpiecing batting for one quilt that I did recently. And that just feels so good when you're like resourceful and you're like, yeah, I used this stuff that could have gone and been in the trash, but I used it and it's now in a quilt. Like, that feels good. Hi, Gloria. Getting on here late from Northeast Tennessee. Hello. How are you tonight? I always think it's funny when people are like, I got on late. It's like, oh, you're never late here because there's literally no rhyme or reason for when I come on. I feel like it's always so random. So you're never late. You are not late. If anything, I'm 6 months late because Archie's 6 months. And I feel like 6 months ago I was on a lot more. On here a lot more than I am currently. This is a really cute block. So this bee, they're all free patterns. Like, you can ask people like, hey, do you have this pattern? If so, like, I want 1 block. So that's also a fun thing about the quilting bee, is that depending on like what group you're in, so that one is free, and then the other one that I joined, they were like, okay, let's do paid patterns. Like, nothing like crazy, like $20 patterns, just, hey, can you get this $8 pumpkin pattern and everyone make me a pumpkin, that kind of thing. But this other one has all been free blocks that you can find online that the people ask for, and so that's kind of fun too, to kind of build your library of like, ooh, I like this block, I wouldn't mind making a quilt like this, and I don't have to buy a pattern for it. So you can be part of these without spending a lot of money. Like, work out of your stash, work out of your scraps, use free patterns. It's a great time. It's really great. I'm going to do this one. All of this I haven't even broken out like new fabric for this. I've been really trying to challenge myself to like not buy a bunch of fabric this year and to also work out of what I have. Like, oh, a new pattern. I'm going to make this. Let's go look at what I have first. Because if I don't, then I'm like dreaming up like, ooh, we could do this with this new collection that I saw. It's like, no. Go look at what you have. I have good taste, so, you know, past me when I bought this stuff, bought it for the future me, so the present me needs to go use it. Hi, Lacey. How are you? I went to high school with Lacey. How are you? I'm just hanging on. I missed it. What is the Quilting Bee? It's an online thing that I'm doing on Instagram with a bunch of gals. So the bee has different hives. So the whole Quilting Bee is kind of just like it's like a swap. And then in the bee, there are hives. So here's the bee, and then it's hives. So these are the groups, and in each hive there are 12 people. And so your quilting bee can be like really big. Like, it can have 5 hives. So it could have a bunch of different people and they're all in different groups. Or it could have 1 hive, like, and in the hive, those are the only people that you're swapping with. So if you have a quilting bee with 12 hives, you are just swapping with the people in your hive. So only 12 people. You're doing a year-long swap. So every month there's a queen bee, and she asks, hey, I would like 2 log cabin blocks with the color purple. And so all of the worker bees go, all right, let's do it. And we make them and we send them off, and then at the end of her month, she should have 12 or 24. Like, some of them will have different rules. In this one, you can ask for up to 2 blocks. So potentially you could get 24 blocks, if that makes sense. Well, I guess it'd be 22 blocks because you're getting it from 11 people. If you made 2, then it'd be the 12. Okay, hope that makes sense. But anyway, everyone would make you the blocks that you ask for. And then at the end of your month, you have all the blocks and you make a quilt top with all of your swap blocks with all of your friends that you hang out with for a year, basically. Try not to buy fabric for the rest of the year. You got this, Kim. Hi, Taylor. I love that. It's so fun. And I've tried. I haven't been very good at it. But when I remember to, or when I have a little bit of extra time, or I really, really like the block, I've been making an extra block, like an extra block from that month, and I'm gonna like piece the scrappy backing on mine maybe, or make a separate top and kind of like have these blocks to look back on and be like, oh my gosh, I made so and so one like this in October. I remember making that one, and she had a really fun colorway that she wanted, or oh my gosh, this was a great pattern and I learned a new technique. So I'm trying to like make one block for myself and keep it for myself when I'm making them to send out, because I think it'd be cool to look back on them. But, you know, I haven't been really good about doing that for every block. So, we'll see. We'll see. That was the idea, but the discipline has not really been there. Because I'm like, all right, let's get these blocks out. Let's go. And then I'm like, oh, I don't really want to make one for myself. I just kind of want to get it done and get it out. It'd be cool if you did a thrifted fabric series. That would be really fun. Yeah, I have a friend. She used to be the thrifted quilter on Instagram. She's now just, I think she changed it to like Haley Quilter. But she started her page and she would only thrift fabric. She would not buy any fabric. So she would go to like Goodwill and all that stuff and get her fabric there. I don't go to Goodwill. I used to go to Goodwill all the time. The only reason why I don't go anymore is because I don't want to take 4 kids into Goodwill. Sounds like kind of like my own personal hell. I'm just kidding. Actually, I'm not kidding. I really don't want to go to Goodwill with all 4 of them. That'd be nutso. So, yeah, I just haven't gone there in a long time, but I used to love going there. I know my mother-in-law loves going to Savers. I like Savers. I don't ever have time to really go out, and if I do go out with the kids, I don't really have time to like look around. And I feel like at Goodwill or a thrifted shop, like it's part of the thing. It's a scavenger hunt. You go in there and you're digging through stuff. You're trying to find the treasure. You're trying to go in there, you're looking, you're taking time. These kids don't give me any time. They're going to be like punching each other in the car and screaming and wanting my phone and eating a snack and taking something off the shelf that's breakable. You know, that's where my mind goes. I might have too much anxiety for thrifting right now, but that was something I really enjoyed doing, so maybe I'll have to get back in there. Hi, Marla. Archie's good. He has 2 teeth now. He is on day 2 of having baby food. His first one is sweet potatoes. I started him on something likable. I think we started one of them on like green beans because someone was like, don't start them on something sweet because then they won't want to eat any of the good stuff. And I'm like, oh no, because I think we started Addington on bananas. And someone was like, why would you do that? They're never going to want to eat anything that's not sweet now. And so I was like, oh, that's a good point. And then I started Zoe on green beans, and that girl, oh, poor thing. I was like, no, this feels wrong. So sweet potatoes is kind of like the good medium, you know? Like, it's sweet, but it's not a fruit, technically. I mean, sweet potatoes, a potato's a starch, so I'm guessing a sweet potato's a starch as well. So it's vegetable adjacent, right? It's not a vegetable, but it might as well be. So I don't feel too guilty. And honestly, you know, you want them to like food, so I'll just give them the sweet stuff and let them trust me, trust the spoon, and then we'll work up to like green beans. Green beans are really the only ones I think that probably aren't that tasty. Like, I feel like Peas are sweet enough that they would be good. Carrots are sweet enough to where they would be good. La la. All right. We have 2 more. And we just have so much to choose from. Did I do this one yet? Let's do this one. Yeah, but when I've been coming down here and sewing, let's talk about podcasts. I watched this show on Hulu called Tiny Beautiful Things, and I literally bawled my eyes out like every episode. It was such a good show. So if you have Hulu and you're looking for something that just makes you feel something, then go on to Hulu and find Tiny Beautiful Things. It was amazing. And I found out that it's based off a book, and the author actually has an advice column called Dear Sugars, and it's also a podcast. And the podcast is so freaking good. And so when I come down here and sew, that's what I've been doing. I get my laptop on, and I put my podcast on, and I listen, and these letters that people send in are just like gut-wrenching. Like, they are about shame and love and like deepest darkest secrets, and some of them are silly, some of them are like just so raw, and you're just sitting here and I'm like sewing and I'm listening to these like really deep stories. So that's what I've been doing. I used to come down here and like put on music, but I feel like I don't know, like I'm just like on the search for something more. Like, I want to not waste my time anymore. Like, I still love listening to music, but I don't know, this podcast is so good, and it makes me do a lot of like self-reflection, because I can relate to some of the letters. I can relate to some of the struggles that people are having, and like, I don't know. So it's kind of nice to listen. That's what I've been doing. And so I can't come on here, and I mean, that was also the problem before. I can't come on here and put on music, and so like I have to have something. I have to have something on. I just can't be down here in a silent basement. It's just kind of, ugh. So, anyway, if you're a podcast person and you're either running out of something to watch or you want something, look up Dear Sugars. It's really, really good. And the people who send in these letters are so articulate, and they're so good at writing. And yeah, it's just great. I've been really enjoying it. So, there's my blurb. Yeah, it is so much fun. Maybe we should do a YouTube quilting bee. I think it'd be kind of cool. So it's online. Yes, it's online. And yeah, it's so much fun. I think maybe we need to have one on YouTube. I can't imagine. I mean, I had never really heard of it until I started, because my friend made an announcement on Instagram. She's like, I'm thinking about starting a quilting bee. Would anyone be interested? And I'm like, what's that? That sounds fun. And so she told me all the details. And I'm like, count me in. I'm in. This sounds great. And I've just had so much fun. So, yeah, we need to do one. Amen. I have 5 kids. I don't want to take them to any stores. Right? Right? See, she gets it. Kim gets it. They end up being picky eaters anyway. Oh my gosh. Tell me about it. And the one that I gave, talk about that. The one that I gave green beans, Zoe, she eats like 4 things. And French fries used to be really high on her list. And guess what? She don't eat French fries anymore. You'll literally be like, hey, do you want this? And she's like, no, I don't want that. And I'm like, oh, fantastic. We're even like limiting even more what you'd like to eat. That's great. Great, great, great. Favorite quote, vegetable adjacent, right? Like, there's so many things that are vegetable adjacent. I mean, corn. Is corn a vegetable? No. That's also, isn't that a starch as well? Or maybe it's not. Oh no. I hear Archie. Yes, for a quilting bee on YouTube. Yes. All right, let's add this other star leg. I hear Archie. What did I say? He's like the worst sleeper. It's 10:22. 10:22. He usually wakes up at like 11 or midnight to eat. and then goes back to sleep until like last night it was like 2. But honestly, there are no rules because he could also still not be feeling great. I'm like listening. Austin's up there with them. Corn is a starch. I knew it. So vegetable adjacent. I mean, I eat corn all the time. I'm listening. Okay, he's still crying. Okay. All right. Playtime's over. Playtime's over. I'll trim this up, and then I'm probably gonna have to go feed him. I'm sorry, but Austin just doesn't have the goods. He doesn't have the milkers. So there's only so much he can do for that boy. Let's see. It's quiet again. Kim probably, I mean, all of you probably get this with kids. You like listen. You're like, okay, it can either go one of 2 ways, or it can only go 2 ways. He either goes back to sleep, or he just loses his freaking mind. Those were just the warning calls. Mom, you better get your booty up here before I really lose it. I don't know if this one is going to work. It's really light. I mean, it kind of is. If I would have done like a more low volume middle. Ugh. The milkers. He doesn't. I mean, what is he even doing up there, you know? Like, come on. Okay. We have one more, and I don't hear any crying. I still don't hear any crying. Okay, let's do this purple one. Just doing like a whole bunch of different ruby star prints, because that's what she wanted. Let's do this. I'm going to try and piece this one super quick, because he's not crying anymore, but that could change. Okay, he's crying. Okay, I'm not going to do another one because, well, I am needed. I am needed. So, it was really nice to come on here and chat with you all. Lacey, I'm so glad you came on here. I hope you're doing well. You're going to have to shoot me a message on Facebook. Hopefully, I have some recording to do tomorrow for 12 Days of Christmas. And other than that, I might come on for some cotton cuts. I've been really wanting to come on and do my cotton cuts again on YouTube. I did stuff on Instagram, but I like doing it on YouTube because that's like a good way to chat with everybody. So, I've got Carnival. Anyone else doing Carnival? Because I will come up and do Carnival on here possibly tomorrow night. So we'll see how the 12 Days of Christmas quilt is going. Yeah. How are you feeling? I'm feeling better. My throat kind of doesn't feel great, but okay, I gotta go. I'm so sorry. Archie needs me, okay? He needs me. So I will see you all hopefully very soon. We did get a lot of these star points done. All ruby star. I don't know how they're, yeah, so, okay, I'm going to talk to you guys later. I always feel bad leaving because it's like I don't know when I'm coming back, and I miss you guys, so, alright, I'm going to go. Giving you all a hug. Thanks for coming on. Love you guys. Bye, goody goods with the goods. Bye. Yeah, I got the goods. Yeah, Mr. Goody doesn't have the goods. Unfortunately. It'd be nice if I could take a break from feeding him, right? I mean, come on. You whip it out. You do it, okay? All right, bye. I'm going to press the button now. Bye.